exciting finishes we've had in a very long time. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and start the questions for 2 through 6. And before we go on to that, let's give you the final tournament standings. Our champion, of course, Mr. Jordan Lee, 2 times in a row. He ended with 47-1. Second place, Brent Ayler, 46-1. Third place, Jason Christie, 45-15. Fourth place, Matt Lee, 43-15. Fifth place, Jacob Porosnik, 43-4. And sixth place, Ott Defo, 42-13. Awesome job, guys. And we'll go ahead and start the questioning. We have the microphone over here. Just raise your hand and we'll get to you. Yeah, right here in front.
This is non-techniques, right?
Well, hold on until you get the microphone so the folks at home will be able to hear the question.
This is non-techniques, but as a 50-year member of Bass and attending many of these tournaments, I was appalled recently to hear a presentation at a sports show tell how these bass tournaments were killing fish. And I've got to say, I've never seen fish so lively as what we saw come across the platform. Is there some new things going on with the live wells and the fish care that we need to tell our readers about?
It's an important conservation question. Who would anyone want to volunteer to answer that question? All right, you want to give it a go, Ott?
Well, I mean, I'm going to plug my boat a little bit, just say those nitro live wells are really good. But one thing I've got on them too was it's a vent deal that goes on the top, lets fresh air in, gases out. It seems to make a difference.
No, I was gonna say thank you. I use the G-Juice from TH Marine, and I don't know the scientific all that, but it seems like it's, I mean, for some reason they go nuts when I use it. But I did fizz my fish, some of my spotted bass this week, and I know back home in Guntersville a lot of tournaments are held in summertime and stuff, and people don't fizz their fish, and they're fine. They just weigh them in and just chunk them back off the dock, and they can't swim away. So that's one deal that I know happens a lot in local events. But you know, I'll just this time of year, you know, the water temp's not that hot either, so we don't have to worry about it.
Well, the only thing I'm going to say to that is Sam Rayburn in Texas is one of the most heavily fished lakes that there is out there. There's thousands of boats on there every day, and you look at the weights of their tournaments every year. So bass fishermen do not hurt the bass population at all. If they do anything, they help it. The more, like if you look at a lake that's really, really healthy, it goes through about a 10-year cycle. That's because it gets too many. It's just like us. If you put everybody in a room for 2 weeks, somebody's going to get sick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, somebody's going to spread the virus, and that's just the way it is. It's the way with everything. So, I mean, it's just a way to look at it, and that's, you know, bass, they go through cycles, and it's not the lake, it's not that we hurt fish or anything. A biologist said that there was 600,000 possible bass to be caught in Sam Rayburn, and as fishermen, that's the whole, everybody fishing there, they target 37,000 bass a year, so you can't hurt a lake.
All right, very good. And we did have 100% release last time we had a classic, and I think we're on par to do that again. So these guys take incredibly good care of the fish. We have the release tanks in the back, so we do a great deal of work and put a great deal of effort into conservation. All right, very good. Next question. All right, up front.
Of all the fish you caught this week, over all the days, did you have one fish that was most memorable? What was memorable about it? What'd you catch it on? What was the situation?
And why don't we start over here with Brent? Each of y'all can answer that question.
On day one, I caught one almost 6 on a wacky rig Senko, and I caught it on a dock where I've caught fish every year we've been here, and it was the same exact dock, and I went straight to it specifically to fish that one dock. And most everything I've been catching is out in about 20, 30 feet, and this one was in about 2. So, you know, it was a big fish. You know, everyone's probably going to say their biggest one they caught is the most memorable because it propelled us the farthest. So it was that one.
Jason?
For me, it would have been the first day. It was midday. I had like 14 pounds, and I'd been thinking about a place I hadn't been in. I hopped in. I actually jumped into a backwater pond and fished around it and fished 90% of it and was about ready to leave. And I was throwing a new prototype. It's spinnerbait that we're going to come out with real soon, and I caught a 5.5, and then put it in the live well, make another, or 2 or 3 casts, catch a 3.5, and then a 4.5. So the bad thing was those were only 3, and I caught out of there all 3 days, but that was the most memorable for me.
Matt?
Does it have to be a fish? You said a fish you caught, or just fish in general? Because this afternoon, of course, I had the 5.5. I caught it like 12:30 today, and then I caught a 3-pounder off a dock at about 1:30 today, and it cold like half a pound. And then there was another one bigger with it, and I kind of backed off, gave it a second, couldn't get it to bite, and then went around to another dock. Long story short, one took my worm, good bite, and then when I put a new worm on, it was a 6-pounder sunning underneath the dock, and I skipped, made just a perfect little pitch, and it just sank down with my worm, never bit, and I was like, okay, well, that's the lost cause. And I went around to the dock where I'd seen the one follow me up, and we have 25 people in our tournament today, and there's thousands of docks on this lake, and Aaron's fishing that dock, and he happened to catch a 4.11 off of it. He caught that fish. So that was, well, what are the odds?
And Jacob?
It would have to be this morning. I knew it was going to be warm last night. I went running looking for him schooling this morning out the bat, and I was fishing down a little drain deal, and I went to throw my Livingston. I was throwing a Livingston Walking Boss too, and I went to throw it, and as it was in the air, they come up schooling between me and my bait where it's going to land, so I went out there and caught a 4-pounder. So it was a pretty good way to start the morning.
Mine would actually be my first fish I caught the first day at 11:30. That was my first one. And but I was in an area I hadn't practiced, I hadn't fished at all, and it's just an area I'd like the looks of, and just said I'm going to go here and I'm going to spend my day. And I had already told my marshal, I said I just need a clue of what to do, what to be keying on, and that first fish, and it was a 3-pounder, it was a good fish, but it kind of gave me the confidence, it settled me down a little bit, and then I knew, hey, this is the right thing, it's the right quality fish, just take this and run with it. And that's what I did the rest of the tournament.
Very good. And I do have an emailed question from Jerry Bethgy at Outdoor Life magazine, and he's asking if you could only pick one of the baits that you used as the key bait of the tournament, what would that be? And we can start with Hawk and come back this way.
Mine would be a bladed jig. It was a Bass Pro exclusive bladed jig. It's made by Z-Man, but it's the Bass Pro exclusive one. 1/2 ounce green pumpkin with, I used 2 different trailers, but both Bass Pro plastics. One was a Sassy Sally green pumpkin watermelon, the other was a bull hog. It's kind of a creature style bait, green pumpkin as well with it, but that was majority.
Jacob?
Mine would be a V&M chopstick. It was really wacky style, and that's it.
And then there's that. Matt?
I had the 4-inch Ocho. I caught a lot on, but the Rage Swimmer 3 3/4 inch. I caught a lot of. It allowed me to get bigger spotted bass bites. A lot of the places there's isolated brush, and you could catch a lot. If there was a lot there, it typically wasn't as big a fish, and places I had didn't have many fish. But if you back off of them and can make that cast, that right cast without getting on top of it, I caught several, 2.5, 3-pounders this week doing that. So.
Jason?
I threw a bladed jig mainly. I caught fish on 3 or 4 different baits. I had 2 or 3 different styles of bladed jig, different trailers, just depending on how dirty or clear the water I was fishing.
Brent?
For me, it was a Yamamoto Senko. You can fish it so many different ways: weightless, nail rig, Texas rig, and that's what caught most of the fish for me this week.
All right, good. Next question, right here in front.
If you guys had access to Bass Track during the day, would you have used it?
All right, good question. Why don't we start with Brent?
100%. I wasted probably 4 hours yesterday fishing for largemouth, and I wasted probably 3 hours today fishing for largemouth. And I had 12 pounds early both days, probably about 9 o'clock. Yesterday I had it at probably 8:30 and fished for largemouth for about 4 hours, and then never, caught anything. Today I did the same thing. I had 12 pounds probably about 9 o'clock, and then went and fished shallow for a long time trying to get a key bite. You know, it's my fault too. Well, it's Jason's fault for having such a lead over us that, you know, it forced us to fish differently out there. And I went back out and started fishing deep and then cold up to what I caught.
Jason?
No, I would not look at Bass Track. I mean, I'd like to have the day to do over again. I think everybody sitting up here obviously would. But it's just one of those things where, you know, if I looked at it, you would even press even more. I mean, 10 or 11. I mean, I honestly thought I needed 14, 15 to have a chance. And I went and did what I thought I needed to do to catch that. If I would have went and caught 12, somebody would have caught 17 or 18.
Matthew?
Yeah, I agree with Christy. I don't, I wouldn't have looked at it. I think, I think if everybody looks at it, it changes kind of the dynamic. I think day 2 I went shallow and I wasted 4 hours. I don't know. You know, I can see both sides, but I guess I don't know if I would have looked at it or not. Because it's easy for me to say right now I wouldn't have looked at it. But today, when Robbie Floyd shows up and I'm in 18th place and I really ain't caught him that good, I mean, I might have peaked, you know what I'm saying? So
the peak for Matt. Jacob?
Yeah, I would have looked at it. I don't think I would have changed nothing that I was doing, but I mean, it might have made me slow down and, you know, fish a whole lot more thorough, you know, or something like that. But yeah, I'd love to look at it. Then I could have maybe run laps around Christie or Ayla or something out there in the middle if I was leading or something. I don't know.
What about Adot?
I'm not going to say I wouldn't have looked at it, but it wouldn't have changed anything that I did. Because I felt I was far enough back and I knew enough of it, somebody would catch them, that I was doing what I had to do. And I was still, I mean, I was 5 pounds out. I was, you know, had I been a pound or 2 pounds out, I would have wanted to know. But I was 7 out to start the day. And without a bunch of 7-pounders in the lake, you know, I mean, you're not going to be that close. So I was doing what I felt like I needed to catch. The 18 I felt like would have been my only chance, and I was doing what I felt like it was the only way to do that, and that's what I would have needed.
All right, very good. Next question.
Guys, can you talk about the changing conditions this week and what impact it had on your strategy and your outcome?
Brent?
You know, when I got here, I kind of figured the fish would be shallow, the winning fish would be shallow, and then when I launched the boat and the water temperature was in the low 50s, 52 the first morning, it was 29 degrees out. I still started shallow. I just didn't see the fish up there swimming around like I thought, so I went out and fished deep. And I still, you know, didn't think I found the right fish out there to be where I'm at right now. I thought I could run around and catch them pretty easily, which I did every day. I had a lot of spots where there's a lot of fish, and they were easy to catch. I just didn't know how many big fish they were. So it ended up being the right fish were out there, but they stayed there, you know, and it was the last day of practice that we had. You know, that's the closest that we had to what we were going to see in the tournament. And you think about it, we practiced Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then we're off for a couple days, we practice again, then we're off for a day again, and then there's a tournament. There's a long span from when we practiced to when we actually fished the tournament. And it never got warm. I mean, it was cold and windy every day, so I knew that it wasn't going to just push them up and start, you know, they're not going to start spawning. Now, next weekend, they'll be on beds everywhere, I promise you that. Those fish are moving up there. Every one of us has seen them swimming around up there. They were not up there swimming around like that a week ago. And we're right on the verge of it happening. So we were just a week off from being a full sight fish tournament.
Whenever I came to the event, I mean, I would commit 1,000% to fishing shallow. That's the only way. I'm not going to beat this guy fishing deep. So I never made a cast the whole time, deeper than 10 foot. And it was good. Practice was good. I felt like I had 2 different things going on that I could catch them. I wasn't catching a lot of big ones, but I felt like what I was doing would give me the opportunity. You know, the first day obviously worked out great. Yesterday worked out great. What changed today was the lack of wind. The lack of wind killed, I mean, these fish, they were still there. I was seeing them, but they just weren't, you know, they were in that lazy mood. That was one thing, and then they're one day away from going to the bank. Whenever you start seeing what we see tonight, they're going to be on the bank and they're going to be laying everywhere in the morning if they're not already there right now. But, you know, I had the bites today to do what I needed to do. It's just one of those deals where I mean, I kept plugging and kept plugging, just didn't work out.
Yeah, I don't think I can beat Christy shallow or Brent deep. So like my problem is I do both and try to like string it together and make it work. So yeah, I spent half of practice out, half on the bank, and that's the thing that kind of kills me about the Elite Series, because you get guys that just stick to one deal. And like Christy, like if he's fishing the bank out here all week, how am I going to go out for half the amount of time and beat him? You know, that kind of, if you think about it, you just can't. But so I did both. I try to keep an open mind. When I thought, you know, I came in thinking I could fish docks, and then I actually went to a lake session or something that's near here. 2 days before the tournament started, I came over. Abby and I, we had a rental house on the lake, but we went over. I went over that lake and actually caught them in ditches in a pocket, real good on a rattle trap. And I kind of went around and looked at the bank and didn't see anything on the bank, so it kind of gave me a clue that what I could look for here, and I really pressed that all week. Even the second day is what I wasted time doing, was throwing a vibrating jig and a swim jig, and I had some bites in practice, but in the tournament it just did not pan out. I don't even remember what the question was about.
It was about conditions. Weather.
Yeah. But yeah.
Chicken.
You can ask me again if I skip something or you want to know.
You know, I wouldn't. I guess. You know, I knew the fish. I knew there was some fish up there shallow. The first day of practice, that was the first thing I did. I ran up in some pockets that I know they move into first, and there was some swimming around. You know, there were some nice ones. So I figured there was a bunch of fish on docks. So I never even practiced fishing docks. I mean, I might have skipped 10 or 12 in the 4 days that we had, but I stayed out deep looking for I guess the winning hole. You know, I know that we were here for an FLW and Brent won the tournament. And the first day I caught all mine off the bed, and he's fishing out in like 40 foot of water. So I said, you know, there's a mother lode out there somewhere, and there still is. I mean, there's a bag out there that, you know, probably could have caught 60 pounds out there somewhere in this lake in one tree or something like that. So that's what I look for the 4 days. I found some places like Brent did, you know, and I thought they were, you know, I thought I could really catch them easy. I guess I got a lot to learn, because they would follow me all the way to the top. They'd follow me all the way to the bottom. They wouldn't bite my junk. So I went skipping docks, and that's how I caught them the whole time until today. About 1:30, I caught about a 3-something pounder off the bed, and I seen quite a few 2-pounders laying around everywhere. So like Jason said, and Brent took, tomorrow morning, why can't we be starting the Classic over, because it would be darn good.
And
My deal, I basically practiced by the forecast. I saw that it was supposed to warm up, you know, really get warm the day before the tournament. And I mean, this isn't that far from Tennessee where I live, and we'd had a major warming trend. I know a lot of our lakes at home up shallow had got up into the 60s and stuff, so I felt like those fish had went there. I don't think they ever truly left. You know, so I feel like those fish had went up shallow, had got shallow, and then with that cover, I think they just hunkered down. And so I practiced by the forecast. I had intentions of trying to find a couple places deep, and I found 2 or 3 places where I got a couple bites in practice, and that was how I decided to start my tournament. I was going to do that for 2 hours, and I was either going to catch something or nothing, and then I was going to go to the bank and plan on doing that the rest of the day. And that was exactly what I did, except I did catch nothing deep, so I went to the bank with nothing, and that was where I fished the rest of the tournament. And I burned a lot of gas in practice. I fished some shallow, and I got enough bites to know that yes, I could get bites. I didn't find any area that stood out more than another, so I had more confidence going somewhere I hadn't been than anywhere I had been. So I went somewhere fresh at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the tournament the first day, and that was what I did.
all right, very good. We have time for one last question. One last question before we bring in Jordan. Sorry.
Jason, when you go in leading and you don't close it out, they don't let you talk on stage. So I just kind of wanted to know what you would have said.
That it sucks to lose with the big lead 2 out of the last 3 years. No, I mean, it's fishing. That's the way it is, you know. Yeah, it's 2 out of the last 3 years. I haven't got to stand up there and talk about sponsors or family or all that kind of stuff. And you know, everybody in here knows who I'm sponsored by. And you know, I think I said in an interview this morning, I truly 100% believe that the sponsors I have are the best for me, the best. And I do believe that if I went an entire year and not caught a bass, I would have the same sponsors. And that's, I mean, they're the people that I would invite over for dinner. And, you know, if that's what I would have said, is that right there. And it still does suck to lose twice.
Very good. All right, guys. Congratulations. Incredible 2018 Classic for you guys. Y'all go ahead and step off the stage. We'll give you